For me, it's a blast. I train with the Royler Gracie since I have 12 years old. I started training in Rio de Janeiro in the Academy Gracie Maitá. And since I started Jiu-Jitsu, I really, was really excited to compete in MMA, mixed martial arts, back in the day, Vale Tudo. And since I started my career, Master Royler gave me a great support. And, since my very first fight was back to '97. And since then, I started competing, not just Jiu-Jitsu, but MMA, submission wrestling, and training under Royler Gracie, like Rafael Cordeiro, is such a best because the guys have so much experience, so much knowledge about what the fight is, and I think you can't go wrong with a corner like that. Yeah, I started competing when I was 17 years old. The first tournament, actually the first time that I competed was a tournament. And I win one fight. I beat Eliezer Ninja in Brazil, and then I fight the final with the UFC middleweight champion Anderson Silva. We fought by 27 minutes, and since then I competed on the most major leagues in Brazil. I compete Mecca, I compete the old Storm Octagon that Master Rafael Cordeiro was the owner, and after I win the biggest Grand Prix in Brazil, they call Super Challenge. You got to do 3 fights in the same night. And I fought with the guys that used to fight on Pride. I won Mauro Xuxa the first one, then Luciano Azevedo the second one, and the final I fought against Jean Silva. I moved to US back in 2007, and I started compete Elite XC. I did 3 fights in that organization, I in all 3. And then I fight in Strike Force. I made 1 fight in the Strike Force when my contract's over. And then UFC got a call to compete in UFC. I made 2 fights in the UFC. It was a very controversial. I got a draw with Kaoru Uno. Was the fight, of my point of view, I was, control the whole fight, but I did an up kick that cost me a point deduction, and that caused it to be a draw. And then after that, I fought Kurt Pellegrino. He won that fight. So I got cut the UFC, but like I say, fight is my life. I couldn't stop fight. And then I fought on Tachi Palace. I beat Steve Lopes, that was also a UFC fighter, and the Ultimate Fighter winner, Efrain Escudero. So after I beat Efrain, the UFC called me back again. And since I'm in the show, my record is I win Thomas Hayden by submission, and then I lost my last fight for Melvin Guilar. It was a split decision, very close fight. And now I have that opportunity to be fighting with Jim Miller in UFC 168, and I surround myself with the best training partners that I can reach. Master Rafael Cordeiro and Master Royler Gracie, they give me a great support. I think I'm going to arrive 110% for that fight. Well, definitely Jiu-Jitsu is my strongest point on my fight game, right? I am a 3rd-degree black belt under Royler Gracie. I think pretty much I see everything possible can happen in a fight. Talk about the Jiu-Jitsu aspect, the grappling. But I improved a lot my stand-up. My last fight with Melvin Guilar, I could display that. He's a very good striker, and I was able to, go toe-to-toe with him in his stand-up. And since I'm training with Rafael Cordeiro, I see the huge improvement on my game. And the training partners that I have here, it's killers here inside the mat, I think Jake Ellenberger, Rafael Dos Anjos, Benny, those guys going to get me ready for any kind of challenge. And then, I think since you have a great camp and the camp gives you confidence to go there, and I think the pace that I'm going to bring to the fight will be superior than what Jim Miller does. He's a great athlete. Don't get me wrong, I'm not underestimating him. I know he's a potential too. But I think that's my time. I want to go there to shine, and UFC give me one more opportunity in that biggest card in the world, and I go there to bring that victory. Doesn't matter what happened.